Nigeria's Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele has said that the recent land border closure has helped in job creation and boosting of the Nigerian economy. Speaking to State House Correspondent after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja, before the president departed for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Emefiele said there is a tremendous increase in rice and livestock production and sales since the border closure.
Recently, and this is the absolute truth, you will all recall also that we have been embarking on a program where we're saying if you are involved in the business of smuggling or dumping of rice in the country, we close your account in the banking industry. Although that is coming on quite effectively, about 2 weeks before the border closure, the chairman of the Rice Processors Association called me. Incidentally, he owns Umza Rice in Kano. He called me and said that all the rice millers and processors are carrying in their warehouses nothing less than 25,000 metric tons of milled rice in their warehouses. That this rice had been unsold because of the smuggling and dumping of rice through Republic of Benin and other border posts that we have in the country. And that he would want us to do something about it. Secondly, we also have some members of the Poultry Association of Nigeria who also complained that they have thousands of crates of eggs that they could not sell, together with even some of the processed chicken that they could not sell, also arising from the problem of smuggling and dumping of poultry products into Nigeria. I am aware also, or I was told also, that after some meetings that were held, in addition to those engagements that we also held, CBN with the president, the border was closed subsequently. Gentlemen of the press, a week after the borders were closed, the same Rice Millers Association, Rice Farmers Association, Rice Millers Association called to tell us that, listen, that all the rice that they had in their warehouses have all been sold. Indeed, a lot of people have been depositing money in their accounts, and they're even telling them, please hold on, don't even pay money yet until we finish processing your rice.
On the possible reopening of the border soon, the CBN boss said consultations are on to make sure that Nigeria ceases to be a dumping ground for other countries, especially those that share land borders with Nigeria.
And we are not saying that the border should be closed in perpetuity, but that before the border can be reopened, there must be concrete engagements with countries that are involved in using their ports and their countries as landing ports for bringing in goods that are smuggled into Nigeria. That engagement must be held so that we agree on the basis under which what are the kind of products they can land in their country, because if those products they land in their country is meant for their own local consumption, it's understandable. But the fact that those products are landed in their country and then transshipped or smuggled into Nigeria is something that I'm sure you all agree as Nigerians we should not allow to happen, because it undermines our economic policy, it undermines our own desire to ensure that industries are alive and jobs are created in Nigeria.
It will be recalled that reactions have continued to trade the recent closure of the nation's land borders. While some see it as a welcome development, others feel it's an own goal that will definitely have a negative effect on the nation's economy. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejirogenefifen for Ben Television.
The Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, has met with the leadership of the National Assembly as part of its battle against the controversial Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System. The president of the union, Professor Abiodun Ogunyemi, briefing the leadership of the National Assembly, stand against the imposition of the IPPIS, said this has an inbuilt mechanism for escalating corruption when the payroll is centralized. He said if government want to curb corruption practices through the payroll and personnel management, the best pathway is to make the governing council work. The president of the union, who said IPPIS is a scam, urged the National Assembly and the EFCC to investigate alleged monumental fraud embedded in the system.
If FG's unspoken reasons for IPs include the lack of accountability on the part of the universities, polytechnics, and colleges, then the solution is auditing, not duplication. Technically speaking, this one is very important because they have made corruption the major issue. IPs is a scam. It creates more problems than it resolves. To buttress this, the AGM claims that the goal of IPs is to engender transparency, accountability, and probity in government expenditure. However, to combat corruption in either financial management or personnel and payroll management, the preferred strategy is to decentralize and not centralize. This is because, technically speaking, corruption is spelled as, I will give a formula, C is equal to M plus D minus T. How do I mean? C stands for corruption, M stands for monopoly, D stands for discretion, and T stands for transparency. So in other words, we are saying to achieve a corrupt-free system, we need to decentralize and not to centralize.
In his response, the president of the Senate, Hamad Lawa, appealed to the union not to embark on strike because of the proposal.
We are meeting with you today. We'll call the Federal Minister of Finance, Accountant General, and even the Minister of Finance to tell us what is it that we need to do to resolve the issue. Because we don't want any strike. And we want our universities to function and function properly. As for funding, the truth is we can do our best only at this stage. We have serious financial challenges in terms of budgetary allocations. This one should be known to everyone. It's a battle getting our revenues right, but it's our duty again as members of the National Assembly to ensure that any revenue due to the federal government of Nigeria is captured and remitted properly, so that when we have sufficient revenue, we can fund our educational sector better. So we'll work hard on this, but I want to assure you that in the legislature, you have partners. We will work with you, we'll work with you, and ensure that we resolve these issues without taking recourse to any strike or closure of our institutions.
President Muhammad Buhari had during the 2020 budget presentation at the National Assembly on October 8, 2019, ordered that all public sector workers must register for IPPIS to save costs and fight corruption by blocking leakages in the federal government's salary payment structure. But also last week opposed the president's directive, saying the IPPIS negate the law on university autonomy. On his part, the Accountant General of the Federation, Alhaji Ahmed Idris, who faulted ASU, said the union position was an open endorsement of corruption. Also, Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, had on Thursday said no government agency must receive the payment system. The Chairman Senate Committee on Culture, Tourism, Rochas Okrocha, says tourism has the potential to compete with crude oil in generating revenue for Nigeria. Lawmaker urged the federal government to pay more attention to this sector as a way of diversifying the economy and creating job opportunities for Nigerians. Okrocha stated this during the 2020 budget defense of the Ministry of Information and Culture. He said Nigeria has so many tourism destinations but lack the marketing strategy to attract tourists.
Good soup, na money maker. If we go and put 100 million, 200 million in tourism, at best, I think we're just indicating our seriousness about the whole thing. So if we want to make tourism a means of livelihood for Nigerians and to create jobs and create revenue, then we must fund it. We must make it a business. It's a must do, because it's obvious that oil can no longer meet our need, our yearnings for the development of our nation.
In his presentation, Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said paucity of funds is the reason his ministry is not tapping into the fortune of global tourism.
So we are before this distinguished house body too, sir. And after all our pleadings, what we got was a whopping 900 million cut from what was even proposed by the government. So, sir, I'm sure that if that 900 million naira had been put back in our budget, it would have been a completely different story from what we're talking about today. So we are glad, sir, to have a committee that is willing to plead our case and support us. Despite whatever constraints we had in 2019, our activities, as you can see, sir, starting from page 4, shows that we were very, very busy and we discharged our functions far beyond the paltry sums that was allocated to us. For us in the ministry, sir, it was more about passion and labor of love than actually, what was given to us. Whatever little was given to us, we were able to give a good account of us. Even if I say so, and I'm saying this with all sense of modesty.
So money is inconsequential when it comes to ideas. So one of the things I challenge you, the Honorable Minister, is to say, listen, okay, we don't have money, let's do this something. Let's think outside the box. I said, right now, our music industry is becoming the best in the world. Could we set up a day in 2020, collectively by all the Department of Tourism, and start showcasing what we have, first in the world? I will have Meet Mr. President program by all the artists, all the musicians, all the likes of Wizkid, Davido, and all these boys that pull millions of crowd followership in social media all over Africa and all over the world. I said they have one big show in Nigeria. I will start advertising it. I will say, okay, listen, let's get it done. As I'm talking to you now, no money is involved. It's only a letter from the Honorable Minister of Information and Department to say, listen, we're inviting you for an award or for a handshake with Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we dress our Mr. President in jeans that day with black goggles, looking cute. And he goes to the stadium, and all these boys are here. Do you know how many people will come from Ghana? Do you know how many people will come from South Africa or Kenya or Mali to witness this event? We'll have nothing less than 100,000 people wanting to see their fan perform live and make it look competitive. What happens then? Each of these people will come with at least $5,000. When they come to Nigeria, they will buy biscuits, they will buy the charge card, they will stay in a hotel, they will take transportation. Then you have brought into your country millions of dollars. I said, that is the way to start. So when the money comes, we can appeal to federal.
The Ministry of Information and Culture has proposed a total of 5.8 billion naira for a 2020 operation.
Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, Jalani Aliyu, says Nigeria must begin to think of the future by tapping into the opportunities embedded in technological advancement in the area of electrification of vehicles. According to Jalani, the introduction of electric vehicles into the country will transform the nation's economy. The NADDC boss, while speaking at the 2019 Commerce and Industry Correspondent Association of Nigeria SICAN conference in Abuja, was optimistic that the acceptance of the innovative use of low-cost advanced technology, electric vehicles, will further reduce the country's overdependence on fuel-powered automobiles. He said the agency was partnering with selected universities in the country on the development of electric car technology.
So electrification, we feel, is something that we need to jump into. I know there will be the argument, why are you talking about electric vehicles when we have challenges with electricity? Well, that is where the whole world is moving towards, and we have to do the same, because we can do it. A lot of these companies that we're talking to have them come in, a lot of these companies that we want established in Nigeria are going electric. So we have to go electric. And really, when people hear electric vehicles, they all get too excited in the wrong way and think, we can't do this, this is Nigeria, this is Africa. No, they're really not as crazy as they seem. I personally know of about 7 electric vehicles in Abuja alone, being driven every day. Some of these vehicles are driven for thousands of kilometers. So electric vehicles are real, and electric vehicles are doable and are already in Nigeria. So we're looking at how do we expand that, how do we support the production and usage of these vehicles. So to that respect, we identified 3 universities that we want to work with to transfer that technology, to understand the opportunities, challenges, and how best to adopt it. We've chosen Danfodio University, University of Nsukka, University of Nigeria Nsukka, and then University of Lagos. We're bringing in a number of these electric vehicles. They'll be used within the campus and between the campus and the cities where these universities are situated. So we'll be doing these pilot programs with these 3 universities. We'll set up charging stations where they'll be charged.
Jalani further said the recent move by the federal government to ensure the completion of a Jakarta Steel Company will help to revive the automotive industry by encouraging local production of vehicles.
Russia agreeing to do that for us. You know, as it stands, the majority of vehicles have steel bodies. So by having that, it will make the cost of actually stamping body panels cheaper in Nigeria. And, you know, we as government, what we do is we put in the necessary support in place to encourage the private sector, because at the end of the day, it's about the private sector to come in and invest.
On her part, Lady Azuka Azinge, Acting Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, said the Commission has embarked on several reform initiatives aimed at making the country the preferred investment destination. She said a total of 244,428 business names were registered during the implementation of the Business Incentive Strategy, BIS, under which cost of business registration was reduced by 50%.
I must mention that the signing into law of the Commission's enabling legislation will go a long way in helping the Commission realize its dream of being a world-class companies registry. And we are also very confident that this is going to turn things around in terms of economic growth and creation of wealth for Nigerians. With respect to small and medium businesses, which contributes significantly to national gross domestic product, I am pleased to announce that the Commission successfully implemented the Business Incentive Strategy, under which the cost of registration of businesses was reduced by 50% to enable MSMEs formalize their businesses. A total of 244,428 businesses were registered over a period of 9 months. This is very significant because ordinarily you probably have just about 60,000 within the same period if not for the introduction of this incentive.
Earlier, Frederick Idehai, chairman of SICAN, said the association was always ready to partner stakeholders to drive the nation's economy. Idehai said the conference was part of SECAN's contribution to deepen conversation around key economic issues.
As part of our contribution to deepen the conversation around key economic issues, required to push the Nigerian economy to an enviable growth level in order to move the country from the status of a sleeping giant to an active giant in Africa. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this conference with the theme, the next level agenda, unlocking the underutilized potentials in the non-oil sector, the role of MSMEs, exports, standards, and skills acquisition is very apt as it will create an avenue for us to look at areas of proper collaboration in ensuring that Project Nigeria works.
Representatives of the Bank of Industry, the Nigerian Export Promotion Zones Authority, and the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria were at the event, which saw the unveiling of SECAN Compendium. Awesome Raffle, Ben Television.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has called for a review of the laws governing the State Independent Electoral Commission, CX. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu made the call in Abuja while hosting members of the Forum of State Independent Electoral Commission of Nigeria for CECOM. Professor Mahmood said the review should make the CS align with INEC stipulations.
There were some discussions in the past that there should be a model law modeled on the Electoral Act to govern the conduct of local government elections nationwide. We are caused to study some of the laws establishing some of the SIECs, and apart from the composition of the state electoral commissions, there is next to nothing actually. You don't see processes and procedures for the conduct of elections. I know that in many states they have their regulations and guidelines, but we need model laws that will govern the conduct of local government elections in the country that draw to a considerable extent from the national electoral legal framework.
He also advocates for CS financial independence in order to make them financially free of external manipulations and to deliver statutory duties objectively.
The independence of the electoral commissions cannot be guaranteed where there is no financial independence. So whatever we can do to work together with you to ensure financial independence for the electoral commissions, that will enormously help the conduct of elections.
For second chairman, Justice Ibozurike Akomas said his group was at INEC headquarters. Implementation of the MOU and proposals made during the meeting between the two electoral bodies sometime last year.
Precisely to facilitate the implementation of that lofty proposal made by you on the 21st of February 2018.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.